Well, hello, Pueblo. How you doing, Colleen?
I'm doing good, Dave. How's it going?
Great. So we're here for an interview for a District 70 candidate, and this week it's Dr. Andrea Wade, and she's running for, I don't know, is there a district you're running for?
Yes, District 70, District 4.
District 70, District 4. So where is District 4? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it does work that way. It's really weird that a district is broken into districts, but District 4 is actually most of Pueblo West and all of the county.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. So we have District 70. It goes how far down south? It goes all the way to Beulah?
It goes really far, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Rye and Rye High School is part of District 70.
Now, can they vote for you?
Yes, they don't have to be in my district to vote for me.
Oh, great, great. And but you have opponents who are other candidates are also in District 4.
Yes, there are two other candidates in
Okay,
District
we
4.
won't mention their names. Um, you're not supposed to. So you're a doctor,
I am.
MD?
No, blood scares me.
Yeah,
No, I have a doctorate in educational leadership.
cool.
Yes.
So that's kind of like District 70 school board, kind of a degree.
Is the perfect method for me to be able to utilize my doctorate, yes, and still get to teach students like I am, which is what I have been wanting to do. I don't want to stop teaching students, but I want to be more involved in the leadership part of it. That's why I didn't want to be a principal, though I do have the praxis done for being a principal, but I wouldn't be able to teach students. So this gives me the opportunity to continue teaching students.
My sister was a math teacher and she tried vice principal for 1 year. That's how long it lasted. And then she went back to mathematics in a high school. What grades do you teach?
I actually teach special education in high school.
Do kids get into special education when they don't really need to?
No, there is a very rigorous testing process to make sure that they need to, and every 3 years they're reassessed to make sure they still qualify and haven't gone out of the area of urgent intervention.
So special education is dealing with the people who are at the lower end of achievement.
Yes, if you think about percentile ranking in a line of students that are the same age and grade level,
Uh-huh.
like say there's 100 of them, anything 13 and below would probably qualify for special education.
Hmm.
how long have you been in education now?
I've been in education 19 years.
Oh, you look so young. You must have started very young right out of college, huh?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I knew I wanted to be a special education teacher the minute I went to college. I went to college to be an art major, but as soon as I got there, I realized where my passion truly was.
I don't know how much money is in art majoring. Is there a lot of money in art majoring?
There's
Well,
not
if
a
you're
whole
good
lot
at
in
it.
education, so
Well, we're going to get there. So, uh, are teachers underpaid, do you think?
In
You're a
district,
teacher.
I think that they are underpaid compared to other areas. If you break it down to how much time they're spending with each student, how many students they have in their class, they're making less than $3 an hour per student.
Per student.
now my sister was a teacher and she taught Vineland Elementary, and most of her paycheck went back to buying stuff for the children. I was like, why are you working? Yeah, yeah,
There's a heart.
yeah.
There's a heart for doing this job.
Do you know anything about the formula from the state for uh, getting money from the state? Because a large part of our money for education comes from the state, I think.
Mhm.
Is
It
that
does
is that
now.
wrong?
It
It
does
does now.
now.
What happened? When did that change?
When President Trump got rid of the educational system.
Oh, the Department of Education.
Hmm.
When did that? Is that this year?
Yes, that was this year.
So 25, 26.
Yeah.
So he returned it to the states, correct? Is that what
He
he
did
did?
return it to the states, yes.
But so the formula, so the money comes from the the state based on the same formula that it had last year?
Yes,
It's just a
currently
bigger
it
pot.
does. Yes, currently it does. But I have heard that there might be some changes to that.
For the 27, 26, 27 year?
Yes.
Yeah. So what schools have you taught in? always Pueblo West?
Actually, I don't teach in Pueblo West. You can't teach in the district you're trying to be school board for.
No
Oh,
kidding.
wow.
Yes, you absolutely can't because then there would be a conflict of interest.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh,
I have actually taught at Goal High School for the past, this is my 15th year there. I taught in Fountain before that, and then I was in Texas before that. That's where I got my degree, was in Texas.
so Goal Academy is what? It's a charter school or
It's a charter school through District 49. We're for online blended learning, which means we do face to face as well. So basically, students can decide if they want to learn asynchronously, which is on their own with a computer, or they can come to the sites and actually have a teacher teach them mathematics, English, reading, writing, science.
I
It's up to them.
I've seen Goal buildings all over the city.
Mm.
Is that wrong?
That's not wrong. We have 5 here in Pueblo alone.
Yeah, they've got a lot out in
And
Springs as well. Yeah.
is there a separate maintenance person for each one?
No.
There's only I'm just a budget thing.
Yeah.
So uh interesting. Interesting.
So now, children that go to, are they able to get vouchers to go to this Goal Academy, or is that something that is strictly paid for out of their parents' pocket? I know that's a big deal right now about vouchers, giving out vouchers, and that was, you know, to me that would be a good idea because you could get kids that really want to learn out of maybe some of the not so great public schools.
Well, for Goal High School, we are actually a public school. It is
Oh,
free to go to Goal High School, and
okay.
we do give you a computer to be able to do your work. And if you don't have internet, we will also give you a hotspot so that you can do the school work.
Mhm.
Goal is primarily, its foundation is really set on the students who couldn't make it in the normal brick and mortar school, which means the beautiful thing is that those students who would otherwise normally have dropped out have another opportunity to finish up. And last year we graduated over 6,000 students in Colorado because we're a Colorado wide school.
Very
Where's District 49?
District 49 is in Colorado
Yeah.
Springs.
It must be east.
It's Falcon.
Falcon. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's great that there's some options out there because, you know, during my time we had one option. You go to the public school, and that was right after they shut down a lot of the parochial schools because parochial schools were pretty good schools. I mean, they really educated their students. You didn't slide by like a lot of the public schools. You had to actually achieve to be able to move forward.
If you were cut up in parochial schools, you could get kicked out.
Oh yeah, you could. Parochial school was tough, and you
Yeah.
had to maintain a certain grade point average and everything. And there was no room for, oh, I'm sorry, you have issues. It wasn't
Well,
like that.
do people get expelled from Goal? Or
Extremely rarely. They have to do something really bad for something like that to happen.
Mm.
Because we know that the students we serve are the students who have already been underserved. They've already been kicked to the curb, or they're extremely high functioning and they want to graduate super early. So we're focused on the outliers.
so 13%, and some percentage of that, or some of the 13, like 2%, 2 of the 13, or how many of the 13 are high functioning?
A lot more this year. We've got a lot more autism students this year than we ever have before, and that means they have problems in like social functioning. But when it comes to academics, they're like some of them are gifted, like
Yeah.
way higher than high school gifted.
I noticed that about kids. They seem to have more allergies and more autism than, unless it just wasn't diagnosed back then. But I mean, I would think food allergies was an easy diagnosis. You know, when I hear so many kids are allergic to tree nuts and stuff on you know, even peanuts, I'm like, wow,
But
okay.
how often did you find tree nuts and stuff like that in food until just recently?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. A
Mm.
lot of
In Georgia,
well, yeah,
I guess those are ground peanuts.
yeah.
So,
I don't know. I was, you know,
uh,
I'm Bojan, so we did walnut pizza all the time, and you know,
Mm.
and stuff like that. So, you know, it just shocked me to know how many children now are allergic to nuts, and
I'm hearing that this is getting a little bit off of education, but not really, because I'm going to ask you about food in District 70. Um, but I'm hearing that the genetic modification of soybeans has caused a lot of the issues in modern foods. My daughter-in-law, uh, who went to a Fountain Valley school, she is very allergic to a lot of
Mm.
things, and I don't. She really feels that it's
Well, so many,
soybean GMOs that have escaped into other
well,
things.
I think nutrition is a big part of childhood. I mean, you can definitely tell if a child is undernourished, he's not going to be able to learn that well, I wouldn't think. I mean, how are you going to think on an empty stomach, you know? So, but I think now, do you get government funds? So you're public, so you are funded by the state,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with all the different, there's so many options now, and I'm really get lost in the mix as to what's public, what's not public, what's vouchers, what's not vouchers. I mean, it used to be you had one public high school or four or whatever you knew exactly what schools there were in public. And I don't even think we had too many private schools.
So we were broadcasting on KOYC radio 98.5 FM, low power in Pueblo, and it is the 23rd. Is it the 23rd?
Yes.
Yes.
23rd of September. This is episode 18, and it's Dr. Andrea Wade, and she's running for District 670 school board in District 4, but anyone in District 70 can vote for her, uh, which is a strange. I guess they just want representatives from each area. So District 70 is wide, encompassing all of Pueblo County except for what's in District 60. So uh, we've talked a little bit about food allergies. What do you know about District 70? Oh, first off, what does Goal do for food?
Uh, Gold does have food options. A couple times a week, we have hot meals that can come from anywhere. Sometimes we do Betty's burritos. Sometimes we
No,
Oh.
really?
do pizza.
I
Sometimes,
love
yeah.
Betty's
Jeez.
burritos.
Like I should go back to high school.
But other
Jeez.
than that, we have nutritious snacks like veggie sticks, crackers, things that students can just grab and still work on their work.
I'm sure you don't know too much about District 70 food operations since you haven't worked there. But what is your view on District 70 operations? Do your children go there?
My children have gone there, yes. In fact, they went to elementary and middle school there.
So what were their food options?
At the beginning, I actually sent them with food just because pay brackets. And then I say the beginning because my life has a definite area. I became a single mom when my kids were just going into middle school. And the difference between a two-parent family home and one parent is pretty
Oh,
drastic.
yeah.
So they did get put on the free lunch, and I was told that they get breakfast as well.
Did they ever tell you what they got for free lunch?
Free lunch normally consisted of whatever the cafeteria ladies were making that day, but they really liked pizza day, which is not Domino's pizza. They actually make the pizza.
I liked pizza day when I was young too.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, cool. So you decided to run for District 70.
I
Is
did.
it because your children went there? What was the reason?
So the reason why ultimately decided was because I feel like there is, even though this is nonpartisan, and I understand it's nonpartisan, I feel like there is very, very low representation for a little more conservative thinking. And I know that a lot of the parents in the county and Pueblo West are a little more on the conservative side. And there's certain things that they really are not being heard for. And same with the teachers. They're just not being heard of what they need. And decisions are being made by people who have never been in the school systems. So I would love to be the voice of parents and teachers so that they don't feel like they're talking to a wall anymore.
So the policy for the curriculum is it in the school board or is it in this principals? Where's the curriculum?
The school board was actually talking about a curriculum change, but they tabled it after a lot of parent outrage about the new curriculum that was coming in. So they have tabled the new curriculum that has come down from the government.
From the state, you mean?
What was the new if you could kind of give me an idea what we're looking at, what we're weighing, what.
Some of the curriculum was kind of focused on those gender studies and making sure that students felt like they were allowed to be who they feel like they are, things like that. There's a lot of good things in that curriculum, but that was the part that I feel like parents were very questionable about because they felt like schools were taking their rights as parents away through that curriculum, and so I think they voiced enough that the school board has tabled it up to this point.
Well, now is it still in codified that if you call your child out of their pronouns that they can file child abuse? Have they pursued that further into it? Is it still in in the schools? I know at one point there was a discussion on that.
So last year that was very prevalent. It was highly encouraged for teachers to put pronouns on their emails and all that. But this year, I know that it's not as prevalent. And in fact, a lot of districts have opted to say, just go ahead and take that out of your email signature. We're not going to focus on that as much.
And is that from a District 49 perspective or District 70 perspective?
That is from a District 49 perspective, but I do know that when I get emails from other teachers, they no longer have those in there either.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
That's
Right.
got to be confusing, I would think, to kids if you're, got all kinds of pronouns. I don't know. I don't know the youth thought anymore. I'm not there with the youth, but I would, if I'm looking at, if I was a kid, I had enough going on during that time would seem to be just another distraction.
It is actually, it has become a point where it's a fad to
I was going to ask that.
to be either a different pronoun, a different gender. I don't know how real it is anymore. I know they feel like it's real, but I also know when I was a kid, if my boyfriend broke up with me, the world was over for me. So everything is very blown up for a child. So if they feel like they should be a different pronoun and you go against that, that can be devastating to them
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like you don't accept them as they are. But they could change who they are in a couple weeks as well. So it's a very fine line to walk.
Yeah, that just seems like we've just piling more on children than we need to. I would think that we should be focusing more on the very basics. I just think that a child's mind is so developing, constantly developing and changing. I think that the more basic it is, the better it would be. Maybe once they get in out of high school, they can explore whatever they want. I would think their brains, but you said the brain wasn't fully developed till 23, is that correct?
No, 27.
27.
And it still continues to grow, but the rate is really drops off at 27. So I've advocated for not letting people join the
Military.
military until they're 25 so that they don't get PTSD while their brain is still
Well,
in the
imagine
final.
what's happening to the brains of the children if you're
Oh, it's got
heaping so much stuff
well,
on them. I mean, it can't be
yeah,
healthy.
no.
I'm not a child psychologist or a pediatrician by no means. I'm just as someone that's raised children.
How many school districts did you ever go to, Colleen?
One,
Not you. How many did your kids go to?
two.
That's amazing.
That was my daughter in high school. She changed. We were living in Springs, but she knew a lot of people and wanted to graduate from Central High instead of Sierra High in Colorado Springs.
Because when I listen to Gary, he's been all over.
He's been all over, but he still only was in one school district. See, the thing about being a military wife, you're not always right there on the travel with them. You can choose to stay and wherever you're at. You don't have to fly to Germany. You don't have to live in Germany or Japan and
Well, that
go
must
to.
have been a relief. You could send him off and he'd be gone.
I think I think more and more military wives are probably doing that and going for stability. But it's probably rich for some children. It's really rich for them to grow up in a different um, country. I mean, it's a good opportunity.
Well,
It just
Colorado
depends.
Springs is a military town, kind of.
Hmm.
So do you get a lot of military up there in Goal?
Absolutely.
And how about in here in Pueblo?
A lot less when the Army depot was going. We had quite a few. But now that that's closed, we don't get as many military here in Pueblo.
But the military people have a whole different way of thought than you can tell when you talk to someone that's from Colorado Springs and you talk to someone from Pueblo, and there's it's a whole different um, dialogue that you have to have it with. In fact, I was out at the Chili Fest and spoke to a lot of people. The majority of the people I spoke with during the time were from Springs or West Cliff or in that area.
Hmm. At the
So,
Chili Fest.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Didn't
Well,
know that. Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot
I
of
kind of avoid the Chili Fest in myself.
yeah,
I'm afraid of not afraid of crowds, but
agoraphobia, isn't
yeah,
that what it
yeah.
is?
So to get back to District 70 and the military aspect, uh, do you think that District 70 actually treats their military students fine, or do you know of any differences? Did your kids ever say anything? Or have you talked with other parents? Let me talk about it a little bit.
I actually went to District 70 myself.
Oh, you did?
I graduated from District 70 and
What school? That's the question you're supposed to ask. What school did you go to?
County High School.
County? Oh, out east. Yeah.
And I loved it. I mean, I loved that there were not buildings around, and I loved that any student that was coming there had to drive a long way to get there. I liked that, but military wise, they're celebrated. When I was there, there were kids that would show up to school at 5 in the morning to start working out because they wanted to go into the Air Force. And man, you got to pass some rigorous physical activity parameters to be able to be accepted into the Air Force. And they would have trainers helping them. JROTC is huge, and many students do a lot better with JROTC than they do in like wood shop and stuff because of the parameters that are put on them and the military way of thinking that they have.
Wow. So we talked about your first plank, which was to swing a little bit more conservative. So, what other things are you thinking about? Anything in special ed? Anything at the high end of special ed at the autistic level?
For District 70, I'm not focused as much on special ed as I am making sure that teachers feel appreciated and are compensated a little more fairly because District 70 compensates their teachers lower than neighboring districts do. And it's really hard to maintain high quality teachers when you're not paying them a wage that keeps them wanting to come there. And then they never have this, oh, I'm coming back next year. They don't know if they are or not. And that's scary. And when you don't have job security, you don't give your absolute best. So I think I want to focus more on maybe giving the teacher's perspective and offering up some different options, opinions that might actually benefit teachers a little bit more and help them want to stay at the job, which will produce better uh, outcomes, better test results. And honestly, ultimately, it's going to help the students become
Sure.
uh, quality graduates and productive members of society.
What is your view on the state testing? I mean, I don't even know what it is anymore. You know what it? Do you know
It's
what it
the
is?
SAT.
It's the what?
SAT.
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 It used to be the ACT. Now it's
So
the SAT.
that's the measure that we're using.
Yes. And it's given in your junior year,
Oh, jeez.
when you still don't know what you want to do.
Right.
It is given once where the school will pay for it, and typically you have to sit there for the full time and actually do this test one after the other after the other. It can take definitely through lunch, and then you have to go and test again, and they're exhausted by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Or they just stop caring and start bubbling in little pictures, and because it's not given in a way that keeps them engaged, honestly.
But that's controlled by the some national level
Yes.
testing. Uh, so this will tell the IQs of the students. So there's the morning, which is reading and math. Is that, am I wrong on that? I'm remembering
They
from
they they
50.
test reading and math, yes.
Yeah, but then they have aptitude tests that are, what is that what you're talking about?
So SAT doesn't have aptitude test. SAT really only focuses on reading, understanding, writing, and math.
So you've been in education a little while now.
Wow.
What do you think has changed as far as these tests? Do you think these tests are easier now than they were 10 years ago?
No.
Or are they harder?
The
Or
vocabulary is insane in them. Like, I don't know some of these words.
Mm.
I've never heard it's not common vocabulary to know what some of these words mean. And honestly, the only way to really get great scores on it is to teach to the test. And I hate that because the test doesn't prepare you for life. The test prepares you for the first step of getting into college, but most colleges don't even look at SAT anymore. They look at your grades, they look at your achievements, basically your academic resume now.
Do you think with the dissolution of the Department of Education at the federal level that what colleges look at will be changing?
Oh, that it has changed already.
Oh,
I
it
think
has.
that's why they don't look at the SAT anymore. Most schools that students go to, like locally, like CSUP, UPCC, all those schools, they don't look at the SAT anymore. Now, if you were wanting to go to Harvard and stuff, yeah, they look at the SAT and they look
So
at your
that
scores.
predates this Trump administration.
Yeah,
Is
they
it
already
from
started swinging that.
it? And it was before what happened in the before in the other Trump administration or the Biden administration to change education
It's
at the
because
college level.
students can be straight A students and score a 600 on the SAT. You want to score like a 1400. But they're straight A students. They just don't know the test. And so you have these great students who volunteer, who already have job shadowing, who are already taking concurrent enrollment, which is college and high school, and then they take the SAT and bomb it.
wow.
And so it's just not a measure that actually is valid for what a student is able to do anymore because it's a pinpoint rather than an entire snapshot of the student. So now I'm thinking that it's more for how we're going to pay teachers. Hey, these students didn't pass, these students performed low, we're going to pay you less, which is once again saying here's this teeny pinpoint of these students. This is how we're going to pay you. And I think that's just wrong.
Hmm.
So what at district level could you do to ensure that your students would succeed? And what ideas do you have?
Um, it depends on what outcome you're looking for.
Mm.
Most teachers, because they have a heart for this and they know what they want,
Mm.
and that is to produce productive members of society, will give of their time, will give of their money, will give of their very souls to help these students just get to the point of graduation so that they can start their lives, so that they can start heading down the path that they want to choose, whether it be a trade school, college, go straight into the workforce, go into the military. Teachers, I've noticed at least more than 50% will focus on that and take the hit financially with the standardized scores.
Yeah, I know as both my sister and her daughter-in-law teach, and I couldn't be a teacher. I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience, and I think it takes a certain love and passion for it. Most definitely, I commend you on that because, especially in today's environment, it's frightening. I don't know that I would want to go to work every morning not knowing what the day would bring. It's kind of frightening out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
with the shooting at Evergreen, yeah.
Yeah,
You just never know.
It seems like you have to prepare for everything, and I don't know how we got to that point as society. I mean, we just turned an ugly, ugly corner. But and I don't know how we can prepare our schools any better. I mean, what can you do to?
I have some ideas.
Well, what are your ideas, Dave?
Well, I would say that we need to switch to a competency based rather than grade point average based.
Mm.
The it seems to me that the goals of public schools, maybe not goal, but uh, that's funny, goal and goal. So the the thing that people are driving to, a lot of students, is to be valedictorian
Mm.
in their senior year, to be valedictorian. So they go for the A's and they take the hard courses to make their valedictorian grade point average
Mm.
work. And I think that's a wrong goal.
Well, I don't know. The ones that have seems to be decimating the school with gunfire, that they don't even seem to be wanting to be class president, let alone valedictorian. They seem to be the outliners and the fringe people that have a lot of emotional and mental illness, and I think that through the years we have really messed up our children with the different things that are going on in our society. I think that type of pressure, in the media, and it's not just one thing you can pinpoint, but I think it's a majority of a lot of things that have taken place to create the environment that we're at this point.
I'm thinking that we need to switch to from valedictorian goal to competency goal.
Or
Get
just
as
being
much
normal. Just
well,
being a
get as
normal
much
kid.
competency as you can. And the way I would do that, but I'm not an educator, I don't have a doctorate in education, but would be to teach for 4 days and then test on Friday. And if you get 19 or 20, quiz, call it a quiz on Friday. And if you get 19 or 20 out of 20, you're competent. If you don't, you repeat the week. And so, how do you determine how much material is in 4 days of instruction? And that would be what 70% of the students would get in 2 weeks of taking the class. So it's common for people to not be competent after 1 week, but by working a second week, then they become competent. And then, uh, so some students would get 36 competencies in a year because they're your autistic, high-end people who are going to have differential equations in their, junior or senior year, whereas the other people would that take longer. They might be take only get 9 competencies in a given subject in a year, but when they get done, they are competent. They are competent. They will know their percentages and fractions so that they can actually deal with a car salesman. And nothing against car salesmen. We have lots of fine car salesmen. Um, but right. And so how do you measure teachers? I would say that if a student is a 2.5 week student to get through to get a competency, and this teacher can work with 2.5 week students and get them to be 2.2 week students, then that's a better teacher and deserves more money.
Well, in a perfect world, that might work, but
Well,
you're dealing with multiple personalities, multiple issues. I mean, it's just not cut and dry. At least that's what I would think. I mean, you're the doc. We're over here giving you all this, and you're the one with the PhD. So you tell us. Yeah.
I love that idea. The problem is to what end? You have until they're 18. And if they're only getting those 9 competencies, at what end do you stop making it free because they've outgrown your opportunity?
well, there might be that someone gets 9 competencies in math, but they have 36 in English. There are students who have a mind that is that way. So what it does is it emphasizes, if it's a big problem for administration, I mean, admit it. I mean, you'd be offering every class every week. Every week,
Right.
and so the classes couldn't be nearly as long.
Well, and the classes can't be just of that student. That's not the way school works. You have kids who are reading at a second grade level
Uh-huh.
in the same grade as kids who are reading at a 12th grade level, kids who have special needs, kids who are run of the mill, kids who are class clowns, all in the same classroom doing these things.
I'm suggesting that the people who don't get competencies repeat the week, and the ones that do move on. And so that, yes, they would concentrate. So with you would end up with classes that are full of clowns, and they would realize that all their buddies have left them behind, and they're clowning to other clowns. So I mean, it's a different mindset. This particular thing is a different mindset. Are you open to that kind of an idea?
Absolutely not.
I was just getting ready to say, I've been telling him this for a long time, but I guess it takes a PhD, Dave.
The problem is you are disciplining the kids who have learning disabilities. You're
Yeah.
disciplining kids who act out because they don't want people to know that they can't read this. They can't understand what this is doing. Plus, there's different learning styles. There's visual, there's auditory, there's kinesthetic. And if they're more hands-on learning and you're sitting there preaching social studies to them and they don't get it, but if they go out and go to Moab and walk and see all these glorious rock formations and understand it now because they're seeing it, they're touching it, they're feeling it, at what end do you stop disciplining people for not having that high-end mindset or the high-end educational abilities?
Hmm. I would see it not as discipline at all. I would see it as extra help for the, if you want to call it that, extra help for the people who don't get it right away. And maybe you move them from somebody who learns auditorially, a teacher who's an auditory type teacher, to a teacher the next week they're in one who does things by making them walk, a kinesthetic style. I don't know what the different thing is. You're the PhD, but there's three. There's three, as I understand it, three different styles of learning. But at the school board, how will you help? How will you help set policy that gets away from no child left behind? Because no child, you describe what you described as no child left behind. What could you do to do that?
I'm so happy you asked that. I
Uh-huh.
really am. My biggest thing that I want to bring to the table on the school board is to bring unification. The reason why things don't get done is because nobody agrees with anything and they're constantly pushing their own agendas. I would like to bring us back to focus and try to work on focusing on what will help these certain situations. I mean, the biggest thing that District 70 has to deal with is the $4 million deficit that they have. I mean, how are you supposed to do what you're talking about when you're already $4 million in the hole? I mean, that all takes money. It takes money to hire people, train people, get them ready, and then prepare them for this new curriculum. So
But
how do we go?
if we don't change, if there's no change, we're just going to keep doing the same old thing. And our
Absolutely.
goal is a separate. It's a different thing.
Yeah,
So it's not in the public school, but um, how would you change the system and save $4 million?
exactly. That's where I was going next was how do we make changes without hurting the budget worse than it already is. So last year, last couple of years, the school board of District 70 did this amazing thing where they changed what the district is labeled as through the government, which actually made it to where the government's giving them a little bit more money per student. So the average per student is between $5,000 and $6,000. Well, the reason why this is difficult for District 70 is they have so many schools. They're so widely spanned out. They have to pay for heating, they have to pay for air conditioning, they have to pay for sewage, they have to pay for trash, they have to pay for food, they have to pay for all these things. And all that comes out of the little $6,000. You know, it takes a parent more than $6,000 to raise a kid a year.
Yeah.
Like that's all the school's given. $6,000 a year to educate that student. A little bit more if they have an IEP, but just a fraction more. So, how do we take that money and have responsible, mindful spending and use it in a way that will lower that deficit, but still promote what teachers want, what parents want, and keep students first? That's ultimately what you're asking. And some of my ideas are centered around maybe automating some of the administrative roles. I definitely don't want to let go of any teachers. In fact, I would love to maybe explore the options of grants, to maybe give stipends to teachers for getting those extra learning opportunities, such as higher education or special certifications, such as PSYOP. These are great certifications. That is teaching ELL within classes and making sure that ELL students or students with English as a second language the opportunity to learn alongside English speaking students,
What is ELL?
English language learners,
Language land. Okay, I see. So,
which here in Pueblo we have a decent number.
mhm. Right. So, are you thinking that you're going to be closing schools? You'd be advocating for. How are the demographics? Are we increasing the number of students in District 70 or decreasing?
Currently, all public schools are seeing a decrease. And this is because of just the way public schools work. I know District 60 is closing some schools. I don't want that for District 70 because, I mean, you have Rye way out there. You have County over here. You have Pueblo West. If you close schools, those kids are going to be bussed
All
halfway
over.
across the world, uh, which is a little dramatic. It's across the city. And where I live, I'm sorry, but these kids are being picked up at 5:30 and 6 in the morning and not dropped off until 5:30 or 6 in the evening. You know
That's a
how long that is
day.
on a bus? That's almost 2 hours on a bus one way.
No, that's
That's
a
a
long.
long time. So we need to address this. We can't close schools. I know they just went down to a 4-day week school system where the kids only go to school 4 days a week. That did help. That did help having maintenance problems and stuff like that. But what I'm actually thinking is the opportunity for online or face to face kinesthetic learning in an area where the kids are not at the school. So, say the first 2 hours of the day, they're required to do either online classes or kinesthetic classes where they're working either with a teacher or online at home. And then they go to school and have to be there by 10.
Either that or beef up the hologram program so we can get hologram teachers in every household.
So, what I'm hearing is that these far-flung schools, it's almost like District 70 needs to have all their schools in Pueblo, and that all the students go to one place in the middle. I'm just
So, what I'm
like
hearing
connect.
is you think people that live in Rye should drive all the way to Pueblo to go to school,
My
which is
kids,
a 45-minute drive.
my kids moved to Fountain Valley School. Do you know where that is? It's in
Fountain.
Security, I think. It's a wide field, maybe.
Right.
But they took a bus ride from 7:05 from Sam's Club to school to arrive at 8, and they couldn't leave until 5. They didn't leave until 5. The bus came back and you pick them up at 6:45. So they had a long day. It was a common thing, but that school got students from, they didn't get any from Penrose that I know of, but they got from Monument and come down to
I,
Security. So that, I mean, I think it's not uncommon.
It's not uncommon, but it also is wearing on the student.
Yeah.
They're tired. They have no outlet because they're on a bus. They have to do homework for
Right.
3 hours
That's
in the
what they
evening
did.
after
They
they
all
get
had
home.
they had little what are these things called? Spotlights on their heads.
yeah,
Lamps.
I don't think that. I don't think that.
So at what point are they allowed to be kids?
Yeah.
Well, they were required to do, school got it finished at 3, and there they had activities, and all the schools, um, all of the students had to choose one of three kind of after school events: athletics or um, theater, and there was another one, art, I think. And it was, I don't remember exactly what they were, but they all had to choose. So they did that from 3 to 5. So, or 5:05 or
But
something.
when do they get to be themselves? When do they get to have time for themselves? Because by the time they've done all that, got home, ate dinner, it's time for bed. They got to get up and do it all over again. They have Saturday and Sunday,
Mhm.
and bam, they've got soccer, they've got music, they've got dance, they've got all these different things. They've got church on Sunday. At what point do they get to rest, and then we wonder why they burn out
So,
or start acting out?
so you don't want to close Rye
I
or,
don't want to close any schools.
so how will you lower the budget then?
Like I said, I was thinking actually maybe more automation in the administration realm. Looking for grants that'll help us get more highly qualified teachers, maybe some after school programs. Where's the money? Because there is money out there. We know there's money. We just got to get it. So maybe hire some grant
Yeah, I
writers.
heard there's over $1 billion left every year in grants behind, So there's a lot of grants that are out there that, unfortunately, Pueblo and the surrounding areas are missing out on because we just don't have that many grant writers running
We
around.
just got to explore these
Yeah.
options, and
So,
then
yeah.
possibly doing the more online or kinesthetic learning the first 2 hours of the day, especially in high school.
Yeah.
Because if you have kids not showing up until 10, imagine how that would help. I mean, these kids are waking up so early to go to school. Their brains are not even awake, and they're supposed to be learning English and math the first 2 hours of the day. Dude, most of them are falling asleep.
Your peers at county did it though. If they were in ROTC, they came and they did the kinesthetic things in the morning, but they got there arrived at 5:30.
Yeah.
Or got up at
But I mean,
5:30.
if you were on basketball team, you arrived at 5:30. Those are extracurriculars and outliers for students who want to do a little bit more.
5:30 a.m.
There's so many, I mean, there's so few children that are capable of balancing all that, and you have so many other things involved as far as home life, what's going on in the home life, what's going in with the child, maybe physically or mentally or emotionally, the family, are they living on the edge where they don't even have a solid roof over their head? There's so much involved in education.
And then parents, how available are they?
Yeah.
I mean, they may have to go to work at 4 or 5 in the morning. They can't take their kid to school, so the kid has to either ride the bus or walk, heaven forbid.
Yeah.
In the county, that's a big deal.
What time do schools open?
Schools open at 7:15.
What about these people that came early for ROTC? What did they
Well,
do?
I mean, if
Did they have a coach?
they have coaches and stuff
So the
that would
coaches let
yeah,
them in?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But when you say 7:15, that's for bus arrivals
Yeah,
from.
general admittance,
Yeah.
letting the school.
What times do they close in general?
For with extracurriculars or the schools.
Either way or both? Which
Extracurriculars can go until 5, and then the games start at 6.
right.
So then it's opened again for that. But schools are pretty much closed down between 8 and 8:30
Well,
when there's no games or after games.
I don't believe schools should be raising our children. I mean, if you want the school to raise your child, then you should put them in boarding school or military academy. You shouldn't expect public schools to raise them. I mean, that's just my own personal opinion. I don't think it's that healthy for the child to be raised by outside a home. I think that there's where we're running a lot of problem is the loss of that core family. But that's just my opinion. You're the doctor.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about the loss of core family?
I think it's extremely detrimental. I know that a lot of fathers aren't staying in the home, and nowadays mothers are not staying in the home.
What do you mean? They're-
Mothers are starting to get to the point where kids are being raised by fathers.
Oh.
It is happening.
That's what I did.
So it's definitely at a situation where single parent homes is rampant, or parent with a significant other, not spouse, but significant other in the home, or they have 2 homes, or they've split and have several homes. Mom, you have 4 siblings and none of them have the same dad or mom, and you guys are all trying to live together, but he gets to go off and go to Disney World and I got to stay here and go to school. I mean, these blended families are just what this world is. I mean, my family is a blended family, and it's something that my children did have to learn how to navigate, and they're trying to do that in elementary, middle, and high school, and life is constantly changing on them.
Yeah. Complicated. We have really complicated the world for our children, haven't we? We've taken away so much basics, and then we wonder why we have issues with the children. Well, we've taken away core values and just basic stability, exactly.
So what I've heard is more conservative. Fix the I don't how big is the budget? It's 4 million out of how much is the District 70 budget? Is it 4% or is it how many?
I actually don't know that number.
You don't
off
know
the top
that
of my
number.
head.
But right now it's a deficit of
Yeah.
4 million in District 70. So work on thinking of innovative ways to cut back the
Yeah.
the, the deficit. What else?
So for me, my doctorate is in educational leadership with an emphasis on community organizations.
Mhm.
I feel like schools have ostracized themselves and made it them versus the community. And I feel like if we could bring it back together, because it takes a village. We all have heard this adage. It takes a village to raise children. But for some reason, between government and state and religion, parents and schools, everybody's just attacking each other. So I would like to bring it all back together and use community organizations to support students, to support teachers, maybe even offer them some benefits for being a teacher, or come in and be like, hey, teachers, we're going to bring a food truck by, free sodas today for teachers, or just anything to make them feel appreciated. And then with the community organizations, you can have career fairs. Starting career fairs when you're a sophomore and junior in high school is too late. I have so many students that I work with that don't know what they want to do, but there's an Army recruiter next door. I might as well go to them. Or, I mean, McDonald's is right here. I can work there, but that's not a career. That's right now. And they haven't thought about what they want to do with their lives. So why not start in elementary and middle, have parents come to the school and talk about what they do? When
Well,
did we stop doing that?
isn't that what they do in Europe and the other outlining countries around the world? Is they start uh, taking the children from grade school up, and they actually test them out to see where their aptitude.
Aptitude. Absolutely. Why aren't we doing that already? Why
Mhm.
are we waiting so late in life? Community organizations, when I did my polls and studies for my doctorate, they want to help students. They want to help teachers. They want to help education, and they're willing to give of themselves to do this. Why are we not tapping into that? Schools don't have to stand alone on these meager amounts of money that the government gives them and demands such high results. There are people out there. I know parents who would love to volunteer. I know community organizations. I know that, like I said, there's money out there. Why are we standing alone when there's all this opportunity out there? So I'm saying we need to get out of our box. We need to start thinking out of our box. And maybe me coming into this situation will offer them a little out of the box thinking, because that's where I got my education, was thinking beyond the school system.
Great. So,
Amazing. Yeah.
um, okay, we've got three things. So what are they? There are the well, the budget, fix the budget. What was the first one? I can't remember.
Retention of teachers,
Retention of teachers, and but not closing schools,
not
not
closing
to
schools.
to fix the budget. Um, what was the? So I'm confused. So tell us again. What the,
So, what I'm standing on is I want to be the voice of parents and teachers. I want to focus on the retention of teachers without closing schools, and possibly look at some ways to give them stipends or bonuses for continued education or additional certifications. Basically, thank you for doing a little extra. I want to focus on the budget. There's a couple schools that have fire alarms that are out of date.
Oh,
There's one school that has infrastructure problems where sewer systems are not working correctly, and yet kids are going to school there. We can't fix it because the mill levy didn't pass last year. So we haven't been able to fix that yet. And
what was the mill levy?
so the mill levy last year was a situation where we asked for a little extra compensation, a little extra tax. Of course, you see that word tax, and people are like, no, vote
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But all that money was going to go to fixing the infrastructure problems in the schools. One particular has a sewer problem that needs to be taken care of sooner rather than later. So I want to focus on that, focus on those nitty gritty things. I know that we want to do some wonderful things with the money. We want to put in fun things for the students. But if we don't start stabilizing our foundation, the whole scaffold's going to fall. So we need to get down, like you said, to the basics and fix some of these foundational problems like teacher retention and infrastructure stuff. And then I want to start thinking outside the box and start looking at other ways we can gain finances without having to look to the government and that tiny little stipend per student. There's other monies out there, grants, community organizations, There's also volunteers. There's so many areas that we might be able to help with this deficit.
Tap into. Yeah, definitely.
So,
Well, Dave, we're getting down
oh,
on time there.
so we're talking to Dr. Andrea Wade on KOIC Radio 98.5 FM, low power, the voice and rhythm of Pueblo. And our call-in number, should you wish to leave us a message, is 719-404-3750. And we're winding down. We got a few more minutes with Dr. Andrea Wade. So, did I miss anything?
No, you didn't. Oh, donations. We need donations and maybe some sponsors.
Sponsors, right.
Yes. Do you have a website?
I actually don't. Because I'm standing on the voice of community and parents, I have dedicated myself that I'm not going to be asking for donations.
Okay.
I'm running this on my own or without donations whatsoever. I'm going meager as possible because I am a teacher myself,
Uh-huh.
and it is difficult for me to ask others to give themselves in District 70.
So how can people find out information about you if they were wanting to find out more about you? Do you have a campaign Facebook or
I
anything?
actually don't have a campaign Facebook. I do have a Facebook that I am not afraid to give out. It is Chris Andrea Wade. I share it with my husband. And if they want to know what my core values are, they're definitely on there. I believe in God, I believe in Christ, and I believe He's my Savior. And I believe that education is the foundation for where we're all going to be starting.
Right.
Fantastic. Well,
Well, yeah, it's been amazing talking
yeah,
to you.
you're very animated,
Yeah.
don't you think? She's animated. She's
Well,
really,
she
she believes it. She
yeah, she believes
glows.
it. Definitely
Yeah.
does believe in what she's saying. That's the thing about radio. You can't see the eyes and the expression. So, but we can tell the listeners that you definitely are, very believe in what you're talking about. So,
All right.
all right, that was
Bye, Pueblo.
bye. That's a wrap. We love you.
Talk to you soon, everybody.